Hello, we are from Group 1 and here is our topic for the final presentation on SCB E306 Marine Biology. Today our group will present about marine invertebrate and vertebrate of Samesan Island, focusing on biodiversity, ecosystem, symbiotic relationship, threat, and conservation. Samesan Island is an example of a coastal ecosystem where invertebrate and vertebrate interact closely to maintain life health. Our presentation is divided into mainly 6 parts, including first an overview of Samesan Island, second, marine invertebrate and vertebrate found there, third, symbiotic relationship between these organisms, fourth, threat to the reef ecosystem, fifth, conservation efforts, and lastly is our conclusion. So moving on to our briefly overview about Samesan Island. Samesan Island is located in Chonburi Province, Thailand, and considered as an important coastal and marine ecosystem. This island is well known for the coral reefs and high marine biodiversity, making it a popular site for marine study and ecotourism. Key areas around Samesan Island include Squid Island and Vihan Long Po Dam for the sightseeing place, which support diverse marine life and attract both researchers and tourists. The primary ecosystem around Samesan Island is the coral reef ecosystem, which includes both hard and soft corals. These coral reefs provide essential habitats, coastal protection, and food source for many marine organisms. The deeper areas, seagrass beds are found, and these seagrass act as nursery ground for juvenile fish and help improve water quality by stabilizing sediments. Samesan Island also supports ecotourism, with tourists visiting the coral reef for their snorkeling and marine observation. The study have shown high biodiversity with 99 species from 36 families, and the Pomacinthidae family being the most dominant. This highlights the ecological importance of Samesan Island as a rich and diverse marine ecosystem.
And this slide talks about marine animal classification. Marine animals can be classified into 2 main groups, such as invertebrates and vertebrates. Based on the presence of a backbone in this study, we focus on species found around Samesan Island. And the next one talk about marine invertebrates. Marine invertebrates are animals which are a vertebral columns. They have high species diversity and play important roles in marine ecosystems, especially coral reefs around Samesan Island. Examples of marine invertebrates found in Samesan Island include corals, sea anemones, mollusks, sea urchins, and annelids. And what we found? Brain corals, feature worms, sea urchins, and giant clams. And these are coral species observed around Samesan Island too, such as Scolimia coral, mushroom coral, staghorn coral, and fire coral. They are important reef-building organisms and support marine diversity. And next is marine vertebrates. Marine vertebrates are animals that contain a vertebral column. They usually have more complex organ systems compared to invertebrates. Examples of marine vertebrates found in Samesan Island include fish and sea turtle, such as parrotfish, clownfish, Sigens major, and hawksbill turtle.
Now let's move on to the comparison of invertebrates between the aquarium and Samesan Island. In the aquarium, we observe that the corals are mostly healthy with very little bleaching and algae cover. However, we also noted that artificial coral are used for decoration alongside an abundance of soft coral and sea anemones. In contrast, at Mesan Islands, the situation is different. We observed that coral bleaching event and also found some coral covered in mucus, which is a clear sign of stress or disturbance. Stony corals cover the seabed. Looking closer at our specific observations in Mesan Islands, we found a distinct difference depending on the location in the deeper snorkeling areas. The seabed is still constituted with coral reef vegetation, showcasing its ecosystem function. However, when we look at the area closer to the shoreline, we observe extensive coral bleaching and coral death. Next, let's comparison vertebrates between inner aquarium and inner Mesan Islands. In aquarium, most crawfish found that are captive breed, which allow for a wide variety of species and color pattern. Through selective breeding, have developed device colors and markings, as well as strains that are better adapted to live in a tank environment. In contrast, the diversity of crawfish that found in Mesan Island, that located in the Gulf of Thailand, is relatively low. Only about 2 species are typically found there. A result of the specific marine environment and the limited type of host sea animals available. However, the species that shown in photo is actually the Aphiplaton percula orange crawfish that is the non-native in Gulf of Thailand. One of the most important ecological features in both environments is symbiosis. The close ecological interactions between invertebrates and vertebrates. These relationships provide multiple benefits. The most classic example we observe is between the sea anemone and the crawfish. The anemone provides a safe home with stinging tentacles for the crawfish, while the crawfish defends the anemone and provide nutrients. Another example is the queening shrimp and leaf fish, where the shrimps remove parasites from the fish, a vital service for fish health in the reef. Finally, we must add that the trees to the Mesan reef ecosystem. Although the reef is still functioning, it is fragile. Based on our field observations, the major threats include environmental stress such as sedimentation, which can smother corals, as well as pollution from human activities. Next is microplastic litter stuck on the stony coral, stressing them. And increasing temperature is risks for the coral bleaching. And the last one is sunlight overexposure.
So the conservation on Samesan and surrounding islands revolve around coral reef restoration by implanting them in the ocean, putting up a reef shading, and also a breeding coral program for further rehabilitation. In vertebrate, there's a turtle conservation which is operated by Rio Thai Navy, and also a crawfish husbandry which is conducted by Burapha University. In conclusion, Samesan Island supports a high diversity of invertebrate and vertebrate species, particularly within its coral reef habitat. The local reef dynamic provides structure, shelter, and food resources, supporting many ecological interactions like symbiosis mutualism, where coral and food certainly interact, and slow predation, which contribute to the food chain. Field observations show that while the reef system is still functioning, it is experiencing environmental threat from sedimentation, temperature, sunlight, and pollution. So therefore, continued management are essential to preserve marine biodiversity and ecological function. Thank you.